Today you'll see a pattern for knits that can be for either summer or winter, just depends on your fabric. A little bow tie variation or just an overlap V. Super pretty. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, and today I have a knit pattern to share. It's really different. It's not the same as other knit patterns you've seen, and it's all got to do with the neckline. It's amazing. And this one is called Sofia. It's by the brand Sinclair Patterns. I made this one a few months ago for a full sew along on Patreon. That month it was the one that got the most votes. I believe it was February. So I've had these for a little while. I have already worn them and I made 3 versions. There are lots of features here that you can mix and match. The most striking features and the most unique ones have got to do with the neckline. One can be a little more simple, and in this pattern they call it a short collar, but I see it more as an overlap V neckline. So it's a sort of wider band that overlaps over each other, and then you have 2 little corners right here like that, and that's what in the pattern is called a short collar. And there is a variation of this that has a necktie option, which is a similar technique but not the same. There are the 2 corners there, but instead of that band that overlaps, you have a necktie with a modesty panel behind it that will give you some more coverage at the chest. There's a modesty panel that's a little lower and will show your chest a little more, and one that's a little higher will show less of your chest. And then you have the bow on top. So even if you bend over, live your life, you're not going to be showing cleavage at all with any of the modesty panel options. So that's really cool. So one is a little more simple to sew than the other for sure. It's a semi-fitted top. It's described as mid-hip length, but at least on me it was full hip, so I think the pattern does run a little long in the length. For the sleeves, they are regular sleeves, normal armhole, the seam will hit the shoulder. The sleeves are not super fitted nor wide. I think they're perfect, and you can either sew them long, those can have a cuff or just be hem normal, or you can do short, also with a cuff or just hem normal. Sleeveless is not an option here, but one of my versions is sleeveless. And then at the bottom, you can either just hem it normally with a twin needle, or add a hemband. You have different cut lines there for the option that you prefer. I have one with a hemband and 2 with a regular hem as well. There is a buy one get one free sale going on at Sinclair Patterns through the 25th of August. You don't need to type in any code. When you look in the website, you won't see the discount, but it will apply when you are checking out. So all you need to do is add one pattern and then add another one. Basically have 2 patterns in your cart, and then when you get to the part where you need to pay, you just pay for one of them. It's just one offer per client. And this is Oksana, the owner, celebrating her birthday, doing this short little sale. I'll leave all my links down below, my affiliate link, as well as the playlist with all my Sinclair pattern make. You can have a look at all the patterns that I've made if you want more inspiration, more information about them. And for the ones I've made, I've got tutorials as well that could be helpful if you like seeing things like this. So have a look at the short buy one get one free sale, and all the links are in the description box of the video and also pinned in the comments. First comment right there. And this is designed for knit fabric. Don't try to do this with a woven fabric that doesn't stretch anything. Even a stretch woven is not going to work. This is for knit fabric that stretches both vertically and horizontally, at least 30 to 50%. And you have a quite wide range of fabrics that are going to work. The only thing I say, try to not make them super heavy, especially if you're doing the necktie variation, because you will find some areas that end up with a few layers in there. So you definitely don't want that area to be heavy. Sweater knits are okay. I have actually used that for one of them, but it is a pretty lightweight sweater knit just because I knew all the layers that were going to happen right here. Rayon French terry would be good, cotton lycra, double brush poly, single brush poly. ITY, I'm going to put an asterisk because you can do it, so you need more patience because it's usually a fabric that slides, curls, it's just harder to work with. But still, it can turn out amazing if you have the patience and do a lot of hand basting, which is what I've done for my summer one. My summer version is ITY, it's amazing. And then I have a sort of autumn in between weather version out of a rayon French terry in grey. So those are my 3 fabric choices for this time. You can use many other fabrics like rib knit, athletic knits, thermal knits. Sizing goes from 0 to 30 US. You have height files with Sinclair patterns for petite, regular and tall heights. You can choose that file first and then choose your size. It is a fitted design with 0 ease at the bust, just 1 inch of ease at the hips, and then you have more ease at the waist. And when you look at the size chart, mine is a size 16, but because I wanted mine to be not so fitted and just a little less fitted, I sized up 1 size to a size 18. Everyone has their own comfort of what they like for ease. And I think if you go down a size or up a size, it won't be a huge dramatic effect. But you know, even 1 extra inch of ease at the hips is going to be great for me, especially with a top like this. I would like to have that little tiny bit of room, and just going up a size is just enough to get that. At the end, when I was trying on and doing the final steps, I did figure out that they were just too long for what I preferred. They are described as mid-hip, but actually they ended up at the full hip for me. I just thought it was way too long. So mine are 2 inches shorter, and that is just personal preference. Everyone likes different lengths. Other people like them longer. So that is always something that you can customize to your preference. Length, I mean, it doesn't affect anything other than where the hem lies. It doesn't affect anything up here or the feet or anything like that. For the sewing, you use 1/4 inch seam allowance for everything. There is a mix of steps that you need to do with the sewing machine for accuracy and others with the serger. So it's a combination of both. I do like that about Sinclair patterns. They just don't assume all the steps are with the serger. There are certainly steps that you're not going to get a nice result with the serger, especially around corners there where you need to pivot the needle. It does actually need to be the sewing machine. For this video, I have focused on the neckline with the necktie variation, which is the one that has the most steps. When I did this sew along on Patreon, I showed every single detail from start to finish for both neckline variations. So there's much more content over there where it's exclusive content. Over here, I present a summary, but it is still very helpful for you. Let's see. These are the pattern pieces for the Sofia sweater, but with a necktie bow variation. So it's a little different than the other one, but still the main pieces are the same. Now this is different. This is a modesty panel. There are 2 types, one that's larger and one that's smaller. You can see the comparison there of the size of these modesty panels. Now the reason I'm using the larger modesty panel is because this is going to be for cool weather. It is a sweater knit, so the higher this comes up in my neck, the more warm it's going to be. And this is the bow. It's a really long piece. It will have a seam in the center. There are our shoulder seams. Now this is the neckline. It looks the same as the other one. It's got that flat edge, and I've got the 2 dots marked there. Those are going to help us put the modesty panel there. So I'm just going to turn this so this is right sides up. I'm going to poke a pin through so I know where the dots are here on the right side. This is how it looks. So the greatest stretch goes across this way. All you do with this one is you fold it in half, wrong sides together, and you can have this small end right here and a wider end. The wider end is the one that's going to go up on the neckline, and this is going to be the one that goes against this flat edge over here. So the only difference with the smaller modesty panel is that it's just a little shorter like this. But this width here at the bottom is going to be exactly the same. I've marked a dot so I can see it. That's on the pattern piece. It's the same intersection of seam allowances from here to there at 1/4 inch. And I have the same dot over here. So I'm going to get my pin and poke it so that it comes right where this dot is here. Now I have these right sides together, 3 layers, the neckline underneath and the 2 layers from the modesty panel. Everything is aligned properly. I'm going to pin it right here, make sure nothing moves. This fabric is nice, it sort of sticks to each other. It's not sliding. And then I'm going to remove these pins that I'd poked through the back. And now I'm going to sew from that dot to that dot right there. Another way you could do this, if you find it easier, is to just sew from this side once you've got this pinned. And it might be easier, I might do it like that, from the dot to the dot. Let's go ahead and do it like that, just because this side of the fabric is a little lighter in color. I think you're going to see my stitching better. It won't make a difference. Remember, you're sewing from dot to dot. The dot here is going to match the dot on this one because you've already lined them up. So I'm going to sew it with a neckline on the top and the modesty panel on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to put my needle down exactly where that dot is and sew across to the other dot right there. Okay, here you can clearly see what I've done, sewn from dot to dot. It's the same as this side from dot to dot because they were matched. They were exactly at the same place. We are going to snip into there, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'd rather do that when I'm going to need that step done. So I'm going to put this aside and put the necktie together with the long piece. The necktie piece is really long, so there's no other way than to have a center back seam, and I don't mind. So we'll just get that sewn with 1/4 inch. Here I have the tie extended, but I'm just going to show you half of it because we're going to do the same on both sides. Here is the center seam that we've just sewn. Now you're going to find 2 sets of notches here. I'm going to put pens so you know where they are. The red one is the one that's going to match the shoulder seams. And further on, you're going to find another one with a blue pen. Now this is the area that we need to sew now, right sides together, but just this area. So let me fold this lengthwise, and we're going to align where that notch is, and we're going to sew just this section, but leaving all of this open. Okay, so here I've got it folded right sides together. The blue pen is marking where the notch is. So basically exactly where that little mark is, we're going to sew at 1/4 of an inch this way, closing those 2 raw edges, and then closing this lanted raw edge over there. The result will be that this area of the tie will be finished, but we're still going to have this raw area, and that's the one that's going to be sewn onto the neckline. So over here on this other side, you're going to have the same thing. So we're going to do the same on both sides, and then before flipping it right sides out, we need to do a little snip right there, but we'll see that up closer. I'm going to do that with my 1/4 inch presser foot, just a straight stitch. There is a little line, and I'm going to sew exactly up to there, not past it. And on this side, we're going to start sewing at that little line here. This is going to be the more central area of the neckline, and we need to snip into this one. That's the only way that you're going to be able to turn this the other way while leaving this other edge still raw. So just up to there, and then this little snipped area is going to be caught in the corner there of that neckline of the modesty panel. So I'm going to snip into this other one as well. Now what we're going to do is turn this right sides out. So I'm just going to flip both of these sides, go to the iron, give it a little press, just being careful not to stretch out anything. But I think you do need to press this to set the seam, and so it's nice and neat. You can't just leave it like this. It's not hard to turn because it's not a narrow tube at all. So that's how the ends are going to look. So I'm just going to do the same thing on this side, turn it the other way. Okay, I've been to the iron and I've lightly pressed everything. Now here you can see from the snip, that is what's coming out of there. This is absolutely raw, but from here onwards, the tie is finished, as you can see. So we have the same thing everywhere. Now here we have the center back seam that's going to match our center back neckline, and the 2 pins that are going to match the shoulder seams. This is a tighter area just to help your neckline not gape at the back. So this is much tighter than it's going to be from the shoulder to that little snip area. So let's get our neckline back. Here we have the flat section of the neckline where we've sewn the modesty panel. It's just hanging right there. And now at this point, I'm going to snip into the corner right there, and the same on this other side. So I'm going to take my long tie, find the center back and pin it right here at the center back of the neckline, and then take this next pin that will mark the shoulder seam, match it here, and same as this side. So you can see how this tie is shorter than the neckline, and when we sew it together we're going to need to stretch it. Now as we go down, this rest of the tie up to that snipped edge is going to go along the slanted area of the front. And remember, I just snipped into there. If you look at it from this side, that's a snip bit, and that's exactly where this needs to reach. So I'm going to align this right here where I have the snip, right there, like exactly right there. And I'm going to put a pin through there. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. Here's the snip bit, and I'm going to tuck it in exactly right here. I want to look at this from the inside. I've got that raw edge pinned right up to the snip on both of these. We need to take this modesty panel and bring it up like this. So we're going to take our ties and just put them down there. If you look at it like this, this would go on top like that. So now let's twist this around, and now we're going to bring this modesty panel over this way on one side, and we're basically going to be sandwiching the tie between the neckline, which is this layer. Here are the 2 layers of the tie and the 2 layers of the modesty panel. That's all gonna go in this little corner right here. There is a snipped edge. That snip gives us the flexibility to move this all around. This was just sewn up to there, remember? So we have all this fabric left, and this is where I'm gonna put a pin right here. And I can see where I started sewing before. Basically, when we sew this part, we're gonna sew there, right up to there, and that's gonna catch all the layers. The one that we've got tucked in under there, everything. So basically now we need to take this modesty panel and just keep pinning up like this all along the edge. You have this folded edge of the modesty panel, so if you're doing the shorter modesty panel, it'll just be shorter here. This fold will be just a little lower, but the technique is exactly the same. And now I'm gonna fiddle with the other side. So remember, we have the tie pinned right there where that snip is. Here is the raw area right there. From here on, it's finished, as you can see. So looking at it from the wrong side, from the inside of the top. We're going to align these edges right here. We have the 2 layers of the tie and the neckline, and now we're going to bring our modesty panel over here. It's all going to be together. Now I don't want to take out the pin holding the tie in place because that raw area of the tie has to be tucked in there really tight. So now I'm just going to align all of these layers here. You can see the point where I'm going to start sewing right there. Again, we have the modesty panel, that's 2 layers because it's folded. We have the 2 layers from the tie, and then we have the single layer of the neckline. So in this area we have 5 layers. So for this particular version, I would stick with lightweight knits really. If you use anything heavy, this is going to be so bulky. As you can see, I've pinned this all the way to catch the whole modesty panel, but I don't want to sew it all up to there. So I just want to sew this little bit here, like an inch or so. I've pinned all the modesty panel up to there, just so it's not flopping around. But I basically want to sew from that corner up to there, maybe an inch and a half, and same as on this other side. And then I would sew the rest of the necktie. Let's just sew from here about an inch and a half, doesn't really matter, and finish at that corner. So that snip there allows this to extend, and we're sewing right up to there where I have the pin. Now let's look at how this looks like on the other side. As you can see here, we have the flat edge, then we have the slanted edge. Here is the necktie right here. This is the modesty panel, and right in there, tucked in there where I have the pin, in that corner is the raw area of the neckline, but it's all tucked in there, and what's coming out of here is the finished edge. See, that's why I didn't want to remove the pin that was holding that super firm until after I'd sewn it. Here's a closer look at this other side. That pin is holding the tie, this raw area. You can see that's the little area that we snipped. 2 layers here is holding it firmly against that snip that I did there against the fabric, so it's butted right next to it, and the pin's super tight there, so I don't want to take that out. And we're going to start right here and sew up to here, and that's how we're going to catch all this area. This is a critical pin I don't want to remove. Okay, now I can take it out. Okay, let's see this one from the other side. Okay, again, success. Here we have the flat edge of the neckline. This that you see there is the modesty panel. This is a tie coming from between the modesty panel and the neckline. And all that raw area that we had snipped into before is all tucked safely in there on both sides. So you don't have any raw areas, nothing's gonna unravel. And what's coming out right there is the finished edge. What I am gonna pin together is the modesty panel to the necktie right there, so that they're together. And then you can see that I'm gonna have to stretch that a little bit to match the neckline underneath when I sew this together. Okay, so let's turn this to have this part wrong sides up. This is the neckline but upside down. Here are the shoulder seams. So I'm gonna start sewing right here on this corner. Catch all this raw business of the sweater knit. Keep your actual garment out of the way. And as I do that, I'm going to be stretching all of this tie to match the neckline underneath a little because it's a little bit shorter. And that's how we're going to go all the way around until we get to the other side. And then we're going to sew to the flat edge. This is a little bit more fiddly because the panel gets in the way. There are ties dangling in there, but just make sure you're just sewing the layers that you have to. So this is what we're looking at. We have our modesty panel right here. We're going to start on this corner. We have 5 layers in this area where the modesty panel is. Here I'm holding the pin with a shoulder seam, so I'm going to make sure to stretch all this area on top, partial modesty panel and tie a little bit to match the neckline underneath. This tends to curl a little bit, so I'm just trying to keep it as smooth as possible. We're going to finish the bottom flat edge. This is how the front looks. Here are the ties dangling down. This is the corner where the ties are coming from right there. Here is the modesty panel sewn in this angle. And then the neckline has all the tie coming over here. So then you would just tie it up and wear it like this. But you'd have that fabric covering up your cleavage right here. This is how it looks on the inside. You can see the modesty panel there. The ties are going behind it, but they're going on the front of it, you know, when you wear it. And this is all serged neatly around that, and then we've serged the flat edge. So basically, once you're done with the neckline and that area of the sewing, all the rest is pretty standard, similar steps that you see in any other knit top. The neckline is just different. This is my summer version. This is actually the third one I made. After I made my winterish versions, autumn versions, I had the necktie variation technique so fresh in my mind that I thought I need one for now, because I made this in February. Back then I was in full on like exploding summer and I wanted one right now. So I made this one and I've already worn it a couple of times. It's a really pretty ITY. I love the combination of colors here, and it is a snake print, but snakes are usually not these colors, right? So that's what I liked about it. And this one has the low modesty panel. It's a little shorter, shows a bit more of the chest, but still I'm not showing cleavage. It's still very good. Nice little bow right there. The necktie includes the back as well right here. There is no official sleeveless version in the pattern because I'd already made the previous two. I had already seen how this armhole fit me and I didn't really need to make any changes, just add the binding, and that's what I did. Remember, I have a full masterclass on bindings, and there is a technique that I like. I'll put the minutes where that technique is shown so you can see it's the one that I like. All of these, you're going to see them styled 3 ways. And you notice that I'm wearing the same bottoms with most of them. If you look hard enough, you're going to find a lot of things you've already got. So I'm not the type to make something and then make another thing to go with it, because I probably already have stuff that goes with it. So let's see it. This is one of my Sofia tops. I made this one to be a summer version. It's a lightweight knit ITY, a little hard to work with, but worth it. I have a lower neckline with the bow option, and I made this one sleeveless. I like this mid-hip length. I shortened it from the original length a little. Really love this for hot weather. I've paired it with one of my self-drafted pencil skirts with a little flounce that just works with everything. Nothing special with the hem, just with a twin needle. A little bit of ease, but not that much, but just enough, just right, I think. There's a little modesty panel underneath the tie, which gives you a nice cover at the chest. I'm not showing anything, I'm very comfortable. With this, I would rather just leave it like that. It just looks more relaxed, but in essence, you could do a bow right here. The tie on the neckline at the back raises it a little bit. I think it looks not a neckline that's going to take half an hour to sew. Very worth it because it's just so different, and especially for a knit top like this, you don't really see designs like this, and I really like it. Love the colors here. I love that it's a snake print, but in not the typical snake colors. Yeah, this is a very unique top, and I'm very glad I found the fabric. I think this fabric worked really well for the Sofia summer version. This time with burgundy bottoms. These ones are ready to wear. I really like the burgundy as a neutral against the tones of pink right here. The shoes and the bag are in the same types of tones, and I think this really goes well together. I've brightened up the look here with my white Allegro pants in denim. I don't know why I waited so long to have white pants, because they literally go with most things. This print does have white in it, so the white pants go in perfect, keeping everything white, including the really comfy walkable sandals with the bag. These pants are pull up and so comfortable. And the top is so light and airy. This outfit is one I would wear all day and feel absolutely amazing. I like the look of it, but the feel of it is great. There's nothing tugging, nothing pulling, nothing tight. It's just great. This is my Sofia sweater with a more simplified neckline. It's called a short collar in the pattern. It's got a corner there, it's got a corner there, and these two bands overlap over each other. So you assemble that first and then you sew it into there. It's like doing two little V necklines because you're gonna have two corners there. It's way more simplified than the version I've shown you, and the instructions are perfect. You'll be able to do it for sure. And look at the details on the fabric here. I love it. It's not just a solid gray. It's got specks of white and just really discreet stripes. But from far away, it just looks gray. This one has the cuffs. This one has the hemband. When I was trying it on, you'll see how long this originally was. It definitely covered my bottom. So it's not a look that I want, especially if there's a hemband there. So I just took the time to take that hemband off, cut it shorter, put the hemband back on, and then I have a length that I really want. Let me show you some things from the inside. I have the shoulders stabilized with a piece of ribbon so they don't stretch out. All the seams are done with the serger, super simple. Some of this is done with the sewing machine and all the rest with the serger, and this is super neat from the inside. Let's see this one styled 3 ways. This is one of my Sofia sweaters. I made this one with a rayon French terry. It's so soft. It's gray and it's got some white stripe details in the way it was weaved. I did make this one shorter than the original. After having made the original length, I thought it was way too long. And I've got it paired here with white, grey booties. If I have an outfit that's mainly solid, as with this one, I like pulling out these bags that have some sort of design on it, monogram, whatever. I think it adds something to the outfit. I would walk out just like this. This one has a hemband and cuffs on the long sleeves. You can see the hemband makes this hug closer to the hips, but not extremely so, and I prefer this length right here. The original length was 2 inches more. I thought that was way too long. The cuffs are really small, that's how they are. Up closer you can see how this was weaved. It's not just a plain solid grey, although from far away it looks grey. This is the more simple type of neckline that overlaps, easier to sew than the other option, and the overlap here is quite nice. It's not super high and it comes close to the chest. I think it's very nice. That's how it looks like on the back. Very neat. These 2 are the areas that you need to be more careful with right there. I think the shoulders fit well. The shoulder seam is right at my shoulder and the sleeves have enough ease. They're not super slim nor super wide, so it's perfect. Grey in general is a pretty boring color for me. I have very few pieces that are grey in my wardrobe, but I really like this one. I like that the weave of this rayon French terry is not just a plain solid grey. It's got specks of white and black, some very faint stripes as well, so it's very special. Grey is a color that will go with every single other color. It is a great neutral, so I could wear any types of bottoms, any color. White looks great right now. It could be jeans, it could be black, it could be red, it could be burgundy. I would generally wear this on its own, but if you wanted to wear a jacket on top, it's fine. It's not a bulky type of design. It doesn't have a lot of ease. You could perfectly wear this under a jacket and be okay. It's just that because it's hot here, I would probably just wear it as it is right now, just on its own. I've dressed up my Sofia sweater just a little bit. Same staple pencil skirt that I always wear. I have these amazing grey shoes that are just so comfortable to wear. They do have open areas, good for in-between weather. Matching grey bag, and I've got a little silk scarf with black and white just to bring that black from the skirt up to my neck. Just little things, and I think this is good. I like this. I would totally wear this to church. I've paired my grey sweater with my green poppy pants. This is one of 3 or 4 that I've made. I really like this pattern. It's very comfortable. Flat front elasticated back that fits amazingly. Straight slim leg, which I think goes with many styles on the top. I've added a little slit on this one so you can see my shoes. So I've kept these same beautiful grey shoes. Added some other tones of greens here with the silk scarf and the bag, and I really love this look. As I said, grey goes with any color, and I think with green it looks really good. You see my green poppy pants there? It's one of my favorite pant patterns because of this leg width and style, and that it's also got a flat front elasticated back, and it just fits so well. It's just such a good pattern. I've got 2 videos about it on the channel, and it's a great bottom. The green with the grey, why not? I really love that look. The third one is actually my favorite. It's the one you saw in the tutorial. I was so fortunate to find this fabric. It's a very light sweater knit. It's almost transparent. It's got the right amount of warmth for what I need. You can wear this under a jacket. It won't be bulky, and it was light enough to handle all the layers that all of this had right there. Higher modesty panel covers the chest a little more, and I think that made sense because this is a more autumn winter garment, so I wanted to be a little warmer up here on the top. And here is the bow. Normal twin hem here, both on the sleeves and on the bottom, no hemband. And it's just so lovely. Got a bit of grey and burgundy, and this print is not really defined. It's not geometric. It's not a floral, but I think the colors go very well with me right here, with what I like. So I'm so happy with this one. And you also see it styled 3 ways. This is my second Sofia sweater. The sweater knit here is super lightweight, almost sheer. And this time I've got the necktie option, but you'll see that up closer. Black pencil skirt, matching accessories, and this is a semi-dressed up look that I feel really good in. This has the regular hem just with the twin needle, same as for the long sleeves, no cuffs on this one. And this one is also shorter than the original length. Here is the same tie that I just leave hanging, although I could do a bow if I wanted to. And I like this length on a fitted bottom like this pencil skirt. I think it's good. You can see the neckline a bit more in regards to my chest and the proportion of the neck and the face. And I'll probably wear the tie just loose. If you want to, you could tie it up as well. I think it also looks cute. You can see the modesty panel behind the ties. So this modesty panel is a larger, taller version that gives you more coverage here, and it's what I wanted because this is a more autumn winter piece. I've got a summer version with the smaller modesty panel. It just comes a little lower still, gives you good coverage. I absolutely love the colors on this sweater knit, and it's so lightweight but also warm. Perfect for this neckline detail that has a few layers in a few places. In my opinion, a great match of the fabric to the style, and to also have a winter version that's a little warm. So pretty and so different to a typical sweater because of the neckline. Here I pulled out the burgundy on the print of the sweater knit and matched it to the bottoms, matched the shoes as well. And there is a bit of grey in this sweater knit, so I've pulled out a grey bag. And this is an amazing autumn look for me. I really love the colors. I struck gold when I found this sweater knit because the print is just so me, it's so lovely, so light, perfect for my lifestyle and my weather right here. See, I've been styling all my Sofia sweaters with pretty much the same bottoms. I can pretty much put so many outfits together with everything that I already have, and I love that. White definitely works here, and this is a more sporty look with white sneakers and a white bag. Super comfortable. It's just a win-win all around. I really love this look as well. Love them, and as you can see, you can make one for summer. It's just as easy as choosing a lighter knit and choosing a short sleeve version. In my case, I would prefer sleeveless or long sleeves. Usually when I do add a sleeve to a garment, after wearing it a few times, I'm always wishing the sleeves were there because I just get so hot. But that's just my thing. That's why I made it sleeveless. And also my ITY was only 1 meter, so I wasn't working with a lot of fabric there. But yeah, you can make it in so many types of fabrics for autumn, for winter, for summer, for spring. And it's a really unique style. I really love it. And I'm always happy when I see Oksana making these knit designs that are just totally different. It's not what you usually see. They're not super easy as such, which is not a bad thing. Not everything has to be like a simple t-shirt. It's really good to challenge yourself and to just put a little bit of effort to get something amazing like this, and I really enjoyed mine. Don't forget the buy one get one free sale over at Sinclair. Finishes the 25th of August, no code needed. It will apply at checkout. Just put 2 items in your cart and you will just pay for one of them. Don't forget to use my affiliate link down below. And that's all from me. I'll see you again with another sewing video super soon. Bye.